What is up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. This is going to be a very different style type of video, so I do hope you enjoy it, and I hope you watch all of this one. So what I've noticed in the past several weeks is I've been tracking, let's just say, the top 300 assets, really going through the big old list on TradingView, going through CoinMarketCap, and what I'm realizing is that assets from this low, such as QNT, have pumped over 100% and are reaching this 200-day moving average, which is this red line. Now I'm seeing this confluence occur for roughly 24 assets. If you're on the 3-day time frame, you can look at the 50 moving average. And then if you go to the weekly, you can see the same exact thing, wicking to perfection, hitting the 34 EMA. So before we dive in, on the daily time frame, use the 200 moving average, on the 3-day, use the 50, and on the weekly, use the 34 EMA. So first off, I know that tokenomics are different. I know that the market cap of each asset that I'm going to be showing you is different. I know that they have different levels of 24-hour volume, different levels of liquidity on a variety of exchanges. But historically, buying assets when they are well below moving averages has typically led to profit if you're able to hold, provided it's a legitimate asset. Now, nothing I share here is financial advice, but I do find this fascinating and I hope you guys enjoy. We have QNT hitting the 200 daily moving average. We have Ethereum Classic as well reaching and hitting the 200 daily moving average. I see Uphold sharing all eyes on ETC. Ethereum Classic is rallying by double digits after a big mining concern invested 10 million. I always find it interesting that all of that good news just happens to happen right after a 150% pump. Now when I see clear leaders on the chart and I'm looking at other assets, I'm looking for laggards. I'm looking for these guys to be a leading indicator and some other alts to be behind. So right now, I'm putting the bulk of my money in assets that are still at these lower levels in this consolidation. Now, HBAR is one example, Algo, XRP, I'll go through a bunch, and they're still at these lower levels. So QNT did a 180% pump. Ethereum Classic did a 150% pump. Now for HBAR, for example, on the right-hand side, from these lows, let's just look at a 150% pump. You know, that's getting us up to like 14-15 cents. Not quite to the 200 MA, that would require about a 174% pump. Now, the more that we consolidate at these lower levels, the more aggressive this 200 daily moving average is going to be drawing down. So my personal bet on the daily, on the 3-day, and higher time frames like the weekly, within the next 2 months, I'd assume that we can get that push. The question is, where is this 200 daily moving average going to be by that time? And remember, looking at the moving averages is just a single confluence. We can look at other levels of previous resistance right here. Notice this wick at about 13.5 cents. We have yet to have any type of rally. Other alts are popping 100% up, and we have yet to move. We have yet to even backtest that level. I'm also aware of that and notice that QNT did in fact hit it. Notice that Ethereum Classic also hit this previous level of resistance. And now it's even breaking out even higher. So in this video, we're going to compare a bunch of altcoins to the moving averages. And I also want you to be mindful of when we do break out of this level, where is the next level of resistance? Here, broke through. We also have that key level right there. And for a little icing on the cake, we can also keep an eye on the relative strength and watch the RSI. Notice when QNT broke out of that level starting at like the very end of June, beginning of July, we got that momentum. Same exact thing can apply for ETC. Notice when we pierce that purple, breaking through 70, boom. And notice that HBAR for now at 6.9 cents is still below that level. Now before we dive into the list of assets that could potentially be leading indicators for the altcoin market, I'll also show you where I'm going to be positioning my capital in 2 different altcoins. But I wanted to give you a macro review on the daily time frame. We're going to use Laggards as an example. So we have the 200 daily moving average, which is this red line. And I hope this outlook and perspective can help somebody out there. So for example, if you're a very patient macro investor, you understand the power of dollar cost averaging and DCAing. But what if you waited to DCA and instead of DCAing, $500 of every paycheck, you actually just got a cash position. And then with that cash position, you strategically DCA. What do I mean by strategically dollar cost averaging? What I mean is waiting for the price of the asset to hit a specific range so that you get the most bang for your buck. So for example, what if you were looking at Algo and you're like, okay, I want to stack Algo, I'm a long-term believer. What if I only DCA when the asset's price is well below this red line, well below the 200 daily moving average? Because if you decide to dollar cost average for weeks or months, historically, when a bullish impulse comes, it's going back over this 200 MA. So what if you DCA here, and every time there's a big impulse to the upside here, or even here, you sell. So you're dollar cost averaging and buying around here, and then after a 2x or a 3x return, you sell, because we're well above the 200 moving average. Then you have your cash position, and you're not going to DCA until we are well below the 200 MA. Now we're below the 200 MA, you could dollar cost average a little bit. Now even if you sold the bulk of it here, and it went up another 2 or 3x, who cares? Be patient. You just got a huge back-to-back win. And then you could either wait until next cycle, look for another asset, or wait until we're back under the 200 MA. Then if you begin to dollar cost average and buy a little bit here, you're going to sell when you're up again. So say you're DCAing at the region, not at the bottom, I'm saying like right here, not even the best entry. You still make another 100%. And then you can exit. And then you wait. Now, of course, this concept is great in theory. Theory is easy, but application is extremely difficult. I get it. Now we've been well below the 200 moving average. And guess what? I bought more algo because I believe in the future we're going to get back on top of it. Just think, we had 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup. In my opinion, not financial advice, there will be another cup in the future. We will surpass this 200 MA yet again. It just takes time. So here's an example that I was using back in 2021, and I posted this on Twitter. This is QNT, and then we have DAG, D-A-G. QNT, in this case, was actually acting as a leader for me, and that's why I was so heavy in DAG. As we can see, QNT from high to low blasted through the 4 Fibonacci extension, and notice that this wick actually almost went to the 4.236, then we had a crash, then we went again. Now this is actually when DAG did a 74% crash. I had one of my closest friends actually sell all his DAG and he didn't tell me, RIP. We're pushing at the 618 Fibonacci retracement. This is the do or die moment. We break through 702 and it's game time. Notice the targets for DAG were at 40 cents at the 4.618 Fibonacci extension. Previously, the all-time high was only 10 cents. And what did we do? We did that very thing because QNT actually showed us that ghost wick and we came back down and then did it. So watch, we go all the way to the 4618 at 38 cents, almost 40 cents. We can see that we went all the way to the 4618 Fibonacci extension. Then we did a back test on the previous all-time high, then blasting all the way back up to a 4618. Notice that is a beautiful take profit using the power of the Fibonacci. Now I know some of you guys remember me calling this wick the ghost wick because this was actually foreshadowing after the crash. When we were here, I was saying that we were going to come back up. Now bear markets are extremely difficult to navigate. This strategy works exceptionally well during bull runs. Now bear markets can be super profitable if you're just shorting everything, but I just wanted to show you this. Also with QNT right here, so notice that we don't really have any price history. This was during the Coinbase listing when it was listed in June of 2021. I forget if it was Bittrex or IDEX, but they deleted all of the chart history. So now I have to go to charts.cointrader.pro to see all the price history for QNT because they basically removed it up until like this point. So this whole rectangle on TradingView is missing. So when you're looking at a chart, make sure that you can see all the complete price history so that you see a complete picture. Here's a video I did in 2021 when QNT was back at $18. Talking about QNT potentially being a top 10 project someday. Okay, now let's look at our altcoins that appear to be the leaders in this case, and then we're going to look for opportunity in the laggards. So we have QNT, Ethereum Classic. We have Uniswap about 5% away from hitting that 200 MA. From this low, it is pumped over 138%. We have Alchemy or ADS from that low, even from this wick, we can see that we rocketed 140%, blasting through the 200 MA. We have NMR or Numeraire, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It actually hit it twice, blasting through, coming back up, and then hitting it a second time. We also have Loom right on Coinbase. Look at this, showing signs of strength. What is this, wave 1, 2? Is this wave 3 hitting the 200 MA? And could we be getting ready for a wave 5 that is also equal to this first wave? We have Lisk with a wick to perfection at the 200 MA, along with Mithril blasting above and beyond and now doing a backtest sitting just above it. We have other altcoins like MATIC en route currently from the recent low has pumped over 200%. Same thing for Curve CRV. From this low, we can see that we have pumped over 190%. Definitely getting closer to that 200 MA along with these previous levels that are acting as resistance. We have Hi-Fi from the low doing well over a 100% pump, wicking and hitting that 200 MA. And then in terms of privacy tokens, we have XMR or Monero actually getting a bit of a bounce. We can see that it has bounced up 66% thus far. Now comparing Monero versus Zcash, we can see that Zcash is a laggard. We are getting a bit of a bounce. Daily candle wick to wick is up 11%, but we still have a long way to go. Because that 200 MA is still closer to $100, and we are at 61 today. And you can see that XRP, Algorand, Hedera, and a variety of other assets are still sitting at these lows. Nothing crazy, we're still sitting just around these lows ranging, and I mean, thus far we've only seen really a 30% bounce. We still have yet to see even a 100% retracement from these lows that were set at 28 cents, and that would still take us up to that 200 moving average, over 50 cents for XRP. Same exact thing for Algorand, if not a little bit higher. You can see XRP also has some levels of resistance that has to work through around this zone. And same exact thing, these 3 wicks, that triple bottom for Algorand, taking it all the way over, that's around 67, 68 cents. We can see that API 3 right here in the middle from the bottom has done a 140% retracement, but we've yet to reach that 200 MA. Notice that we have hit these 2 wicks thus far, but I still expect that API 3 can still push over $3. Casper, another laggard, as you can see, respecting this 200 MA very well, and we are still well below. The 200 MA is still around 6 cents, and remember that we still have yet, just like I showed probably last week, we've yet to backtest that zone. Right around 5 cents. Right there, that wick. 5 cents even. And notice that API 3 has. XLM, same thing, another laggard. We have Moonbeam or Glimmer, still a young buck. We don't have enough historical data to see those MAs. DAG is making its way up from this low at just under 5 cents. We can see that we have gotten as high as 8.6 cents, about 75%. And I'd still be looking at that zone right around 11 cents. And the same thing stands for Bitcoin. Notice this wick at 25K. I know I've been saying this for a few weeks now, but we're just waiting. We're just in this range. So we got close the other day, getting as high as like 24,000, but then we came back down. We've yet to backtest that level. We have open gaps on the Bitcoin futures chart at 28K along with $34,800. Notice that 200 MA is actually really close to that Bitcoin futures gap. And I'd actually be eyeing the 100 moving average on the daily. Notice that's right around 27K right now. The longer that we stay down here, this MA is going to drag down. And same thing for Ether. So notice we've yet to really backtest this zone around 1700. We're getting really close now, pushing over 1600. Okay, so there's a good amount of resistance right around 1700 for Ethereum. If we can break through that, we can start climbing and getting back over 2K. So right now, looking at Algo and Casper, these are the 2 assets that I personally chose to focus on for the short term. You can choose any asset that is well below the MAs. If you want to go after these guys, I mean, maybe QNT gets another shot since ETC is moving, but I'd rather just take my position in something super low and just patiently wait. Now, the most profitable scenario for myself is if one of these, Algo or Casper, goes before the other. So for example, let's say that Casper goes first and it begins moving, even climbing 50% up to that 5 cent mark. If I can take those profits and then put them into Algo as low as possible, and even ride another 50 or 60%, that would be the most profitable situation. And we're watching these other leaders. So for example, let's just say that I have 50K in Casper and then I get a 60% return. Notice, I mean, it could be higher, but I want to take profit before everybody else. So 50,000 times 1.6, boom, $80,000 with the 30K profit. Now I take that 80K and let's say I enter Algorand, and you know what, let's just say that Algo started moving, it's up to 37 cents and it still makes it up to, 60 cents. That's another 60% move. So 80K times, we're going to go 1.62, another 62%. Now that turns into 129K, minus my 50K investment, and that's almost an $80,000 profit just by patiently waiting to compound. So turning that 50K into 129K is a 2.5x. And ROI is ROI, even if it was a $1,000 bag that you doubled and turned into 2.5K. That's a big win. So we'll be monitoring this over the next 2 months. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you learned anything, be sure to like and sub. Links in the video description, and until next time.